Abarera Legos Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja 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 Abarera Legos
Chat. Hello, chat. Welcome to the impromptu Tuesday episode of the Malice Experience with everybody's favorite bottom, Mystic Salon. Chilling by the pool like a boss. So, probably someplace that's cold as shit.
Actually not. It's pretty freaking nice out right now. I am in Baltimore.
Baltimore.
70,
Maryland.
72. Yep.
That's pretty
72
northeast.
degrees. Yeah, it's pretty far up there. Not far from where I grew up. Too far, anyway.
There you go. So I hope everybody's enjoying the mantra that was provided to us by Behemoth X. I hope you guys are all... Speak of the devil, and so shall he appear. I hope you all are enjoying the mantra that was provided for the intro, which we will be playing throughout the show on repeat. So all of you fuckers can get possessed. Behemoth did the channel a solid and, just said, fuck it. I'll do you guys an intro mantra. And it's, I couldn't ask for anything more. I'm in love with it. So yeah, Mystic's in love with it. I sent it to him as soon as I got it. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. I also love the touch of the thunder in the background. So, Behemoth X, thank you, kind sir. Welcome to this impromptu episode of the Malice Experience. Really nothing, very specific to talk about. Just kind of want to hang out with you guys, see how you guys are doing, stuff like that. We had a little bit of drama on the channel about a day or two ago. I don't want to go too far, down that rabbit hole and kind of perpetuate it, but we had a little bit of drama, and that's personal to me. I got quite irritated and quite pissed off by a particular individual's comments. I normally don't. I like to think that I'm pretty good at kind of keeping myself generally level-headed when people make smart-ass remarks. But there was just something about somebody or me feeling personally attacked, by someone when I talked about how long it is that I work, and to make a comment, in the air that, what I do for work is not stressful, or, how difficult or how hard that must be. Kind of bothered me. So I kind of went off on a fucking tangent, made a video about it. You haven't watched it, you can watch it. I don't suggest it, but, it's there. So, yeah, that's that. I don't want to get any further into that, but that's what happened. That's why I made the video. I'm not going to war with this person or anything. Just something that pissed me off and kind of, went at it. You guys should see the first take of the first video that I kind of recorded. It was colorful. It was colorful, to say the least. I went with the mature and wise decision of not uploading the first recording because it was a little too colorful. So
colors are pretty.
Colors are pretty. They are pretty. So Noella, yes, I can mount my laptop on my stationary bike. Ask nobody, but this is the moment in upgrade history. Okay, rock on.
Whatever floats your boat.
Dragon's like, I want to see the first take.
Everybody wants to see the first take, especially when it's more colorful, right?
Oh yeah, right. It's bright and shiny and aggressive. it's aggressively colorful.
I love it.
So
It
Thank
was
you.
pretty ridiculous. It was just odd, very odd behavior. What concerned. Oh dear God, I've had nothing to drink. What concerned me a little bit was really the evidence of mania and some issues in there. I hope help is sought.
Yeah, I mean, I had thought about just ignoring it and letting it go, but like it just honestly it just irritated me. And I'm gonna be honest. What really kind of pushed me to kind of go through and actually make the video and do the comments how I did was I was actually reading the Satanic Bible at the time. Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible. I was going through, like, I do that on occasion. I'll go through the, the 9 satanic statements. And, the one that stood out to me, as I'm sure all of you already know and are well aware, and you don't need me to fucking tell you. But the one that stood out to me the most was, let's see here, which one was it? Yeah, so number 5 was the fifth satanic statement was Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. And that was kind of like what kind of prompted me to kind of say, fuck it, I'm gonna I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this video, regardless of what happens. We lost about 5 or 6 followers, subscribers on the channel. It's whatever. If people can't handle when I'm, pissed, then there you go. Mystic showing off. That's a beautiful spider web.
There's a couple of them out here. I saw this spider he's not in there. I don't know if y'all can't see it, but he's freaking huge. He's not in there right now. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just noticing.
Sad World's in Baltimore. Okay, rock on.
Sad World what?
Sad World, a Sad World, in the chat.
Oh.
Baltimore here.
Hey.
So,
I'm in well, actually, technically, I'm in White Marsh, but close enough.
So, chat, I want to ask you guys a question. So, as most of us are left-hand path or left-hand path adjacent, as our beloved co-host, Mystic Salon here. Mystic, I'll ask you first. What is your stance on that statement on number 5 that I just read? Vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Instead of turning the other cheek.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you look at it. There's a lot of different ways you can take that. To me, it's not seek out vengeance. It's when it's necessary. There are certain things that we do, left-hand path or not, and this is actually something I've recently read in the left-hand path book that I'm reading. That it doesn't give you, just because somebody did something to you, that doesn't mean you have to specifically address it every time. That will eat you up, not the other person, because that other person's not going to adjust. You're not going to change their behavior or, alter what they're doing. It's the anger that you hold for that is worse than just letting it go sometimes. So to me, the vengeance, not turning the other cheek, doesn't mean seek out vengeance. It means in order to set things straight, if you need to and feel the need, you would do it. For example, for me, I'd pop off for 5 seconds and I'd be over it. It's just kind of how I do stuff, I don't grudge hold, and people can often take that as turning the other cheek or ignoring it, but really there's something to be said for not responding to something and not allowing it to get that reaction in the first place. So there's no vengeance to seek. He took nothing from us that we didn't give him. So there's no vengeance to be sought, in my opinion. That doesn't mean you shouldn't respond. I'm just saying from the vengeance standpoint. I don't necessarily really see that as vengeance.
Right.
Per se, Like, vengeance for me would be like if he said, go F your mom, and you're like, you go nuts. You can't say that stuff. That's inappropriate. It's unfair. It's, or whatever. I would speak up on it. But as far as vengeance, nah, you don't have that kind of power over me.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I like what Cult of the Sun said. So serving
Doesn't mean I can
thyself.
do it. I'm just saying that's how I feel.
Right. Serving thyself is always the main thing in their personal practice. And I think that that's like kind of like the main thing too for me is like, you know, being able to serve like what I feel is necessary. Like there's been a great many of people that have left comments, rude comments on many videos that I've ignored. Many of you are very aware of this. There's just something about it that just irritated me, and I felt the necessity to, you know, be vocal about it. You know, it was probably a waste of time for the channel to put it on the channel and things like that. But, you know, like it's just, I didn't want to leave it, you know, just sit because it was kind of festering. I tried to, at the initial moment that I saw the comment, just to let it go. And I felt it kind of like just building up inside of me because, you know, being someone that comes from a background where, you know, I've been homeless twice, you know, stupid decisions on my behalf, which kind of put me into a bad situation. So, you know, I had to get myself out of it, and I did. And I did have help. I'm not going to lie. I had people that helped me. So, you know, it's just like, but it bothered me because I've been through that situation, you know, and no, my work is not physically taxing. By no means of the imagination is my work physically taxing. But I will say that my work is indefinitely, you know, mentally taxing. And, you know, for me, that statement in the 9 Satanic Statements was, you know, Curtis, what's up, man? How's it going? I've been trying to get your ass back on the fucking show for like a minute, man. Curtis, you want to jump in, dude? Like you got him? You got a minute, dude? Can we call you and pull you in, brother? Like can we pull you in, man? I would love to pull you in on this, dude. I would love.
I'll be in the middle instead of on the bottom. I'm
This is true.
So
10 minutes. All right, rock on.
I mean, I think I completely hear you. Like it's to me, if you're looking at it from a left-hand path perspective, it's probably going to alter depending on what you need for yourself at that moment, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of where you stand up for yourself to it. Although, on the other end of it, it does make it look like that person hurt you, and you wore your hurt for everybody to see how much he affected that reaction.
That is something that I've been very conscious of. And
that's a good thing. Because stuff hurts us all the time. We don't like to talk about it, don't like to say it. I mean, that's the way things were said is hurtful. Like you don't want to feel like you're not pulling your weight, and it's bad enough that there's enough people telling everybody that you're not doing enough. It's enough for who? You know?
No, exactly.
And that's how I took his comment.
I mean, that was the thing. That was the thing that bothered me. It's like, dude, I bust my ass to take care of my family. Like, I mean, and especially like with the schedule that I work from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. You know, I sacrifice time with my family because, like, you know, for example, right now I should be asleep right now. You know, it's just tomorrow's like a light day though for classes. So, but you know, I sacrifice time with my family, you know, for the job that I work. And no, it's not physically taxing, but you know, it is psychologically taxing because I teach adults and kids. And for somebody to sit there and say, oh yeah, it must be super fucking hard to work 6 hours from home. It's like, dude, fuck you, man. Like who the fuck do you think you are? Like to sit there and tell me that like the work that I put in to put food on my goddamn table and pay my fucking rent, you know, isn't actually work, or try to make me feel like it isn't actually work. And then to have the audacity to turn around and say, well, I'm just trying to get the truth out of you. It's like, who the fuck are you, man? Like, I don't owe you any explanations.
Yeah, that really read to me like a manic issue. Like there was something else that was happening that was kind of reading into that. So,
which is why I went off and I said that, like, I assumed that was the same person that we booted from the Discord. I'm going to say it right now live. I cannot be 100% certain that is the same person that was being misogynistic in the Discord that we booted, that was having a conversation with Scarlett. I cannot be 100% certain, but I'm going to sit here. I will say that I am 95% certain that it's the same person.
Yeah, Dragon Dancer. That's the same feeling I got. Like that was an all night. I've been on that all night binge, solving the world's problems. But you have to be with the right people for that.
Yep. Well, I mean, you hang out with the coke dealer in the bathroom trying to solve the world's problem just because the person's got coke. That kind of deal.
I think I solved the world's problems. I just don't think anybody was listening to me.
I'm pretty sure I solved the world's problems. I just don't remember. It's like one of those epiphany moments that kind of like came in and went.
Yeah, for sure. Usually.
So, and I think that's probably a good subject for tonight's episode is like, when is it a good idea to use our energy to like, to do what I did, or when is it a good idea to conserve our energy and, kind of take a step back and say it's not worth it, right? Like, is both of those actions, I think, in the right circumstance, are very powerful.
There's a lot of risk to that in certain circumstances. In a face-to-face encounter, that initial conversation would likely not happen, right?
Oh no, it wouldn't have been a conversation. It wouldn't have been a conversation. Like I was thinking about putting that like in the video, but I decided not to. But like, the thing is if somebody were to face come to me and say, "Oh yeah, we're working 6 hours so fucking hard," I'd probably lay them out.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Who the hell are they? I know what I'm doing.
That's just how I am. Like, I mean, I don't.
I want to look at why you react that way. That might be some shadow work.
Listen, you're not Scarlett. You're not my therapist.
I know, but the benefit you get out of that could potentially cause you to lose work, lose job, lose family, lose kid.
Right.
If that's the reaction.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
I know I am. I'm an ass.
I which is one of the reasons why I decided not to put it in the video. I decided not to say it in the video because I didn't want to come across as threatening, because I don't want to get into a fight with somebody. I don't want to, become physically aggressive towards anybody, but I don't know, man. There's just something about what he said that just really fucking irked me. Like, I'm generally really good about, letting shit go and just not paying it any mind, just not giving a shit. There was just something about it that just the way that it was done, like, I guess, like in the condescending, arrogant way that it was done, Yeah,
I would be like, this is the challenge. We said, hey, look, we have an open invitation. Bring your ass back on the show. Let's talk about what you said, why you said it. See if he shows up.
See that? See, I wish I would have thought about that. See, I need to talk to you before I react to shit.
I'm used to, like, I have to watch my reactions a lot from what I do at work. So I've gotten relatively better at muting my reaction. You can ask Rook. Very few things set me off, but when they do, it's full on Hiroshima. There's no, and it only happens like maybe once every couple of years, and there's no turning around from it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it like firsthand, man. You
only saw the crack in the earth. You didn't see the volcano.
Look, one thing I learned with you. Don't fuck with Rook's happiness in any way, shape, or form. Like that is like, like Mystic is very protective of Rook, and
if he wants to conjure the devil and open a ring of fire, then you fucking let him do it.
And I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, it gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside to see that you're like that, because generally speaking, like, to see you guys together, like, I mean, you do act like an asshole with him, like, like, hey, bartender, give me a fucking drink, obviously it's between you two and you're joking around and you two understand each other. But to see, like, that level of, love and caring that, like, I'll fuck a motherfucker up if he fucks with the person that, I'm with. I'm happy for the two of you. I'm very happy for the two of you.
It goes along with the thing. I'm not a fighter. That doesn't mean I can't fight.
Exactly. No, I completely understand that. You know, and I'm very much the same way. Like, I generally try to kind of keep it, like, I try to keep myself pretty low key, like, unless it comes to, like, family or people that I care about, you know. But obviously, and I think the reason I'm talking about this right now, Chad, is I kind of regret making the video. Like, there's a part of me that regrets it. There's a part of me kind of that regrets kind of responding the way that I did.
No regret.
I'm not going to apologize for it because I felt it was necessary in the moment. But overall, like, I feel that because I've put myself into a particular position within our community to be, you know, kind of like an example. I feel that I failed you to a certain degree in trying to be kind of like the positive example of what it is that I want to see in our community with my reaction to that. So that's one of the reasons why I think I'm coming out and I'm saying this. But the one thing I can say to my favor is that, you know, when I feel like I fucked up, at least I have the balls to sit there and say, I think I fucked up.
I don't think I'd call it a fucked up though, right? It is a human being a human to react to a human thing. It's the afterward and how you discuss it is what makes it real or valid or impactful to the community. Because the thing is, for me, is that what that's most important out of all of it, any kind of reaction like this, is it is okay for people to react that way if that's how they need to react. And it's okay for people to not react that way if that's not how they want to react.
Yep.
Just because one does and one doesn't mean one is inherently right or wrong. However, it can be evidence or symptomatic of something that they might need to adjust or change themselves, but they have to decide that, not somebody else. I'm not going to say that somebody else should or shouldn't respond a certain way. I need to work more on, am I going to respond that way? And do I like how I responded? And if I did, I'm going to keep doing it, or I'm going to grow that because I need to be stronger. My whole last 3 years of my job has been learning to be an asshole at work because I'm too nice.
Yeah.
Right. And so having to balance that, you can't go way overboard in one way or the other. And that's my boss literally tells me, you're too nice. You need to be more of a jerk sometimes. And guess what? It worked. But I needed to decide to make that adjustment. And if somebody else doesn't like it, that's their problem. They can adjust their behavior. I will adjust my own.
Scarlett will probably still be here. I have class at 1 o'clock in the morning. I've only got 2 classes, and so that means I can just pass out right after 2 classes. So I only have to work 2 hours until I think 9 o'clock in the morning. Then I have more classes, so you know I can pass out about.
I will not be on until 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, I'm probably not going to be on until 1 o'clock in the morning, but like I'll probably be on until maybe about 9. Probably like 9 o'clock, which is about 2 hours from now, you know, is probably the idea. So, but I wanted to pull Mystic in because the thing is, it just always feels weird doing an episode without Mystic. Like, I know Mystic doesn't kind of like give himself enough credit for the show. Like, he says it's my show, and I keep trying to reiterate the point that it's our show.
Nothing wrong with solo action.
You know, so when it's a little too much solo action, you got to kind of ask, like, hey, what am I doing in my life? You know?
Yeah, what's my goal? What's my end game?
Right? Like what am I doing? Like, why am I by myself right now?
I'm so lonely.
I just have a picture of like that Tigger gif. And him turning around, going with the sad face and the fading out as he walks away.
Poor Tigger.
Yeah, poor Tigger. You know, and also if you guys hear my cat's in heat. We haven't had her spayed yet, so yeah. So you know, she's on that kick that, like, you know, for at least 6 days every month. She basically comes under the desk with her ass in the air, like, and it weirds me out. Like, I love my cat, I really do, but it weirds me out. Like when I look under the desk and I just see the cat with her head down and her ass in the air, going, and it's like, no.
Bad kitty.
Like, I don't do that. So, yeah. So yeah, that's the
I
thing.
think this is the best lighting I've had.
Right, dude. I think it's cool to see outside. I think it's cool to see like to let people see something different. You know,
Weird.
that too, that too. So, by the way, an update with the book, ladies and gentlemen, as everybody knows, October is next month. So I, as of Friday of this week, will be submitting the first 6 chapters of the Book of Baphomet to Llewellyn. So that's 2 days from now, Friday. So I'll be submitting the first 6 chapters to Llewellyn. We're in Discord, man. We're in Discord. I think I have you in Discord, brother. Let me add you into the call here. Dick Sword. Curtis J. Yeah, there you are. I ain't
Noella,
doing
your
spit
flower-
right now.
Noella, if you're on, your flower is only funny because I saw what it was before it was edited.
So, Curtis, I'm going to be adding you to the Discord call right now. So open up your Discord, all right? I'm adding it, add the group DM. Which is going to massively just weird out everything, but
Could be worse.
True. All right, can we do the panel? Do we want to do the panel? No. 3 people. There we go. All right. So I need to work out. Hold on a second, chat. I'm just fucking with the frames right now.
I just got recommended an article. Why do guys moan when they pee? You're thinking about whether you do that or not now, don't you? Everybody is.
No, I know I do that. I know for a fact that I do that. And I'm just kind of trying to think, why do I do that? All right, so we're just going to wait for Curtis to get in here. So you guys are going to see double of me for the time being. Or actually, here, we just do this. There we go. So we're just going to wait for Curtis to jump in. So, Curtis, once you have it in there, you can just jump in. You'll be in the call. So, yeah, I forgot where the fuck we were at. God damn it. So, chat, tell me, like, how do you guys, like in your honest opinions, what do you think? Should I have left the situation alone, or do you think that I handled it appropriately? I'm curious. And I think another good topic of discussion for tonight would be actually going through the 9 satanic statements and kind of talking about what we think that it means for us. So while we're waiting for Curtis here,
he's trying on Zoom.
well, he'll be jumping, and he's got Discord going.
I know.
So
Fine.
the first satanic statement, right? So
I agree with Brooke.
I
Good comment.
feel like a reasonable response was fine, which yours was. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Exactly, Brooke. So the first satanic statement: Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. What do you think? How do you feel about that statement, Mystic?
I don't know. I mean, that's a specific thing to that book. That's not necessarily what other, as I am recently finding out, other left-hand path practices speak of. Because those two things aren't mutually exclusive or opposing ends. Like abstinence of something doesn't like over. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, indulgence, sure, if you want to,
Okay, so you
but
think it's okay to
it,
be indulgent?
of course I do. I eat freaking food enough for 5 people some nights,
Same. I still got two
and I get
burritos over there waiting for me when the
yeah,
show's over.
and I eat too much sometimes, and I talk too much sometimes. I overindulge in a lot of things, and sometimes those are okay. But if I constantly do it, I'm probably not going to live past 60. So I might need to abstain from too much coffee or too much of fatty, nasty food, the fast food. So yeah, I think both of them have a place. I don't think one is mutually exclusive from the other.
Okay, okay, I can respect that. Brooke, do you want to jump in? Can you jump in, Brooke? Like, can we get like a small little panel going on tonight? Would you be cool with jumping in, Brooke? Yeah.
Yeah, good point. It doesn't mean you have to indulge in things you don't like either. Absolutely, and I think that's where the Satanic Bible is really talking about. It's talking about that kind of indulgence of do what you want. It's nobody else's business, but you can still harm yourself. Doing certain things.
Yes, 100%. Brooke, you're Forget, right? Yeah, that's you on Discord. Yeah, Forget. Yeah. All right.
Oh, my jaw's cracking. I wish I would have brought my other book that I've been reading down because it's got some. It separates vices and virtues, um, and it's very neat how it talks about what I would think is indulgence from the Satanic Bible and kind of tempers them into a little bit more logical responses for me.
Right. Well, I'm actually curious about reading this book that you have. Um,
Oh yeah, look, I posted about it on Facebook. My sister went out and bought it. One of my friends from nursing school, who is a full-on Christian, has went out and bought it. Uh, Needless to say, she's also a very open person, and she just wants to learn. She's one of my favorite people in the world, and I haven't seen her since I graduated nursing school, decades. So,
right.
but yeah, that's it's definitely good. It's a very well-known book. I think Scarlett might have said it either is one of or it is her favorite book. I think one of her favorite books.
Curtis, you can just jump in. You are added to the group here, so you can just kind of jump in. You don't
In your
have
private
to.
messages.
Yeah, it'll be in your PMs, your DMs, your PMs, whatever you want to call them. Slide into the DMs, my good friend. All right, it has been a while since I've drank a bottle of wine. I'm about 3/4 through, and I'm really starting to feel it.
It's gonna be one heck of a sandwich, man.
A sandwich? What are you talking about? A sandwich?
Panel.
Oh yeah. I just think it's a good discussion to have a panel on. Yeah. Oh, there's Curtis. There we go. We got Curtis in here.
All right.
All right, man. You gonna be putting your video on? You doing just audio?
Yeah, just trying to navigate this. I'm not a big Discord user.
All right. It's all good. Brooke, you here with us?
I'm just eating.
Well, as they say in Spanish, provecho. Here, I'll make you feel less guilty. I'll go grab a burrito.
Well, hey, I have to go to the bathroom. You want to ride with me? I'm just kidding.
Do.
So,
Literally. What in the world? Oh.
got me a good old steak burrito.
Yeah, it's Taco Tuesday. I had like way too many tacos today.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, I
I had
I forgot about Taco Tuesday.
no Chili's was yesterday. Today was Applebee's.
So,
I'm guessing my friend that is in Maryland, whoever that was, is coming over to hang out, huh?
there you go. So, Curtis, I'm curious about your opinion about everything we've been talking about thus far.
Oh, in
So-
regard to
So, let's start with
roles.
let's start with kind of like vengeance instead of turning the other cheek.
Yeah.
Okay, you want your
Well,
camera?
I think honestly
Yeah.
that there's a point where positivity becomes toxic. You know what I mean? I think turning the other cheek is important to a certain extent. But at the same time, when you allow people to continue stupidity, I mean, you're really serving them no purpose. When you're actually anchored in love, you know what I mean? And you're living in your heart space, you're going to want to fucking correct that shit. I know if I'm being an asshole, Bonnie will tell me. I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
That makes sense though when you're
I want truth.
with somebody and you have people that are in that circle, but when they're outside of that circle, to me that gives them a power over you that just isn't necessary. Like it's just extra drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it really, I think it's circumstantial to a certain extent. You know what I mean? It really is because childish trolls just trying to start shit, they're not worth the time or the energy.
You're right. You're right.
You know? But at the same time, we've got to draw a line in the sand. We've got to be authentically who we are. When I feel like I'm acting out of character by just ignoring somebody, I'm not going to ignore them.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it really has nothing to do with vengeance. It has nothing to do with anything other than my own personality, man. Like, I am who I am.
Right.
I'm a strong-willed motherfucker. And when I know I'm right in a situation, I'm going to point shit out logically. It's not about cussing anyone out. It's not about trying to feel superior. It's not a superiority complex. It's really just about setting shit straight. Like, this is the way it is. This is the way I feel. This is the way I think. If you don't like it, kick rocks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree. I mean, the thing was, is like in the moment, like I tried to like ignore the comments that were like the comment that was made. I don't know, man. I just like inside of myself, I just couldn't fucking do it. Like I really wanted to just kind of like let it be, but I was just like, I can't let this, like, it's just fucking irking me so goddamn much. I need to say something because I bust my ass for my family, and for anybody to sit there and say that, like, I fucking don't, or to suggest that, you know, what I'm doing is mediocre, pisses me off.
Right.
You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And people do, man. They underestimate how much work this kind of shit is. You know, this is not Christianity. Spiritual work is work. And it takes work to get the knowledge and the wisdom that we obtain through that spiritual work.
Yep.
You know, and fuck. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people that will say the same shit about me just because I'm not busting my ass for the man. There's a lot of us that still do.
Right. No, definitely.
And the truth be told, you know, I make more money than most people. So this is a job for me. That's why I do it.
No, you definitely.
It is my job. And people will resent you for it. They will hate you for it. They will downright hate you for it. And that's okay. I mean, he's right. It's like, why give it the fucking time of day? Why give it the energy? But when it comes down to trying to emasculate you, make you feel less than, no, you've got to, it's almost a necessity to draw the line in the sand, you know, in my opinion.
I think the line was drawn, if that's the same person, very clearly in the Discord. So not everybody's privy to that conversation that we are, that occurred prior to that, if again it's the same person. So that's kind of probably what's a little different in my perspective. It was addressed, and it was addressed very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on point, addressed, not to me, not in a open letter to the state kind of thing. That's
Right.
what's different for me. Like sure, if somebody's coming after me, and it depends too on the situation. A lot of times, I used to kind of beat myself up a little bit. Oh, I should have said something. I should have told that person how I really feel. And then, I've learned lately, probably through my reading of Left Hand Path and some of my other practices and experiences, that it just doesn't matter. I don't need if I have to set somebody straight because they have made me feel emasculated, then that means I made me feel emasculated. I allowed myself to be emasculated. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't have time.
Right.
So in the instance and in the situation that you did it, I agree with what Brooke says. Like, and everybody, like, it was appropriate. You did what you felt was right and how it needed to be addressed. I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't matter what other people ultimately think they would have done, because what they would have done would have also been just as right for them.
Right.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Well, I agree. Yeah. The thing is, you remember in school this old cliche: "Sticks and stones, they break my bones, but words will never hurt me."
Yeah.
And it's like it's the reverse.
It's just not fucking true. Words do hurt. Words do fucking hurt people, and you're accountable. You can't say on one hand you're not Christian and then not be accountable for your actions and your words. You know what I mean? So
technically true, but they still try.
I think it's about making people accountable for what they say. Because on the internet, I mean, people will talk and slander and talk shit all day long. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything, which is exactly why I do sometimes make people fucking accountable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, definitely. I mean, and the thing was like that was kind of like the mentality that I kind of took when I saw the comment. Like do I really want to let this person, sit there and say that, what I do for work, regardless of the time, how long, whatever, isn't worthy of being considered, difficult work, things like that. And I was like, no, like I'm not going to sit here and let this fucking person, that I thought was and I think the part that pissed me off the most is that I thought that this person was, a dedicated member of the community, because they're regularly in, the comment section and, in the chat, and to see that comment just kind of, flip me out, because I love the community here. Like, I love our community, and I take, my responsibility to the community very seriously. And to have someone that I had originally thought of it as being a dedicated community member, be so, just judgmental towards me. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and allow you to, talk shit this way, to make a suggestion, even as underhanded as it may have been, to say that, the work that I do isn't relevant or important, regardless of whether or not I gave details about what I do for work. That's irrelevant. Like, I owe no one an explanation of what it is that I do for work and how I make money and things like that. I owe no one any explanation whatsoever. Right. And if you think that I owe you an explanation of how I live my life, then you are very sadly mistaken.
Yeah, I was gonna say the whole, like, I don't know, to me personally, the whole idea that just because even if you did work less hours, it being less worthy than someone who works longer hours, I thought that whole idea is just an elitist mindset and makes no sense. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. And it creates a lot of resentment in some parts of the community, because there's people out there wondering. I mean, they're trying to do ritual for hire, and they're wondering why they're not making any fucking money doing it. And so they resent people that do. And it's like, well, you're not qualified, number one.
Mm-hmm.
What have you fucking published? And what gives you the qualifications to publish anything?
Yep.
There's way too many people out here that don't know squat about the occult, man, and they're publishing shit.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching stuff that works just enough to get you fucked up.
Yep. No,
You know,
I mean, I can tell you with the book that I'm going to be publishing next month, hopefully through Llewellyn. I can't guarantee it. Like I said, on Friday, I'm going to be sending, 6 chapters to Llewellyn and see where it goes. And I'm hoping that they grab on and say, yeah, sure, we'll publish it. But I'm definitely suffering some imposter syndrome because it's my first publication. Like I sit here.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, like, what the fuck makes me fucking qualified to publish a goddamn book on Baphomet? Like, regardless of what I've talked about, the things I've said, things like that, those are personal experiences that I'm interjecting into this that I feel that people will find interesting and, educational. But beyond that, like, I'm like, this is my first publication, so I'm definitely suffering from a little bit of imposter syndrome. It's like, like what makes me qualified to publish this fucking book?
Results, man. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. You know what I mean? If you want something, can you get it? If we can say that your qualifications come from lodges and orders. I've been a part of too many of them. They've taught me more what not to do, if I were to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And fuck, what does qualify somebody? That's a hard question. Because I bet, there's people out there that probably have never stepped foot in a lodge that know more than a lot of these fuckers out here teaching and claiming to be whatever they're claiming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to name drop or do any of that shit, but.
I mean, like I've even had Michael Ford, after the interview that we did with Michael Ford with Christoph, Michael Ford told me that, he would be willing to, publish me through his website and things like that, with the book with the book. And even with that, like it felt, I don't know, like it didn't feel sincere. Because now it's not that like Michael Ford fell upon, what I was writing and said, oh, this is fucking amazing. No, it's, I met him in an interview. He likes who I am as a person, and it almost feels like a favor. You know what I mean? And it
right.
And it's like one of those things I'm like, I don't want any favors in this.
Why not?
Because I want to feel
is that not part of the left-hand path manifestation of utilizing the things around you to move forward and what you're trying to do?
You're 100% correct. You're not wrong, but at the same time, like I feel like he hasn't really like before he read anything of the book. Like he's like, yeah, I'll publish it, and I'll even write a foreword for it, and I'm like, but you haven't read it. You don't know me. Like if it's somebody that like knows me, like if Curtis turns around, like I've interviewed Curtis, I think 3-4 times, easy, like if Curtis turned around, I sent him a copy of the first 6 chapters, and Curtis said, you know what, dude, this is fucking amazing. I want to write the foreword for you, and I want to fucking help you publish this thing. That for me would mean something because 1, he knows me through an extended period of time. 2, he's read the book, and 3, so like the opinion that he's providing is based off of what he's experienced, by reading what it is that I'm producing, right? That it's good content. I'm grateful towards Michael Ford. Michael Ford is a fucking I've said it many times.
Yeah, the powerhouse.
Yeah, Michael Ford is the fucking the Anton LaVey of Luciferianism.
Well, Luciferianism. Everyone throws that fucking title around. It's his. He started it.
Yeah. I just think that it's we have to make sure that we don't get in our heads with this qualifications and all of the things, because then we're going to end up doing what everybody else does. If you have a book and somebody's willing to publish it and you have a method and you did it from your heart, that's for the people who read it to figure out. So, we go out, right, and we look at these. My house is full of books. Me and Rook, we have books that we will be not reading, and we're going to die not having read half of our books.
Yeah.
I have the next book on my list after the one I'm currently reading is actually The Magic of Ahriman. I know nothing about it. I just want to learn and read it and see what it says. I want to know about it. But in the end, that's not the purpose. The purpose is what are you doing to manifest what it is that you want to make happen, and see how it goes.
I agree. Trust me. Like when Michael Ford, like when I was talking, like Michael Ford, we had like an hour.
Dude, here it is. Put it up.
We had like an hour meeting. You know, we talked about, you know, clothing designs. Like I want to do like a specific, you know, charged sigil occult clothing brand. And he's like on board with like doing it. Like he loves the fucking designs and shit. We talked about, you know, the book and shit. You know, he said he'd be willing to write the forward for it. Like, look, when Michael Ford tells you that, hey, I'm willing to write the forward for you, like you don't say no. You don't say no to Michael Ford. Like I'm just like I'm being completely honest. Like just like look at what Curtis just said. Curtis is a person with weight in the community, right? He has skin in the community. Okay, Curtis like has been to hell and back with fucking, you know, co-editing and, you know, all of that shit. You know, he's got skin in the game. You know, for Curtis to turn around and say, you know, fucking Ford is a powerhouse means something.
Oh, he's one of them. Yeah. He's one. I learned under Ford, man. I'm still toe. I'm still Order of Phosphorus. I mean, one thing I do want to say, Malice, looking back, truthfully, bro, is and guys, I love and respect Michael Ford, but me looking back, I wish I would have never let anybody's fucking hand in my pocket, because that entire empire that fell recently. That fool, most of those people were either teachers of mine or students. I built that fucking empire.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Because I let them get a piece of my fucking pie. But see, I didn't know it at the time that I didn't need them. When you really can self-publish, and if the work has been worked, the work will speak for itself. The word will get out, and it will fucking sell.
Well, that's actually, yeah, you're right. You're 100% correct, and that's actually part of the reason why I was apprehensive when, you know, when Ford offered to do the foreword for the book. You know, like that was one of the reasons why I was like, apprehensive, because it's my first publication. Like if he came in like in my third or fourth publication, he's like, dude, you know, I've read your books, I like your books, I'd like to do a foreword for your third book. Like I'd be like, all right, you know, I wouldn't be apprehensive at all. But it's my first fucking book. So, and you know, like when another author does a foreword on your book, that's part of your advertising, right?
Yeah.
That goes directly into your advertising. So, you know, Adius Dade, you know, the Book of Baphomet, Conversations with the Horde One, with foreword by Michael Ford. Boom, there's your selling point. People that are into Michael Ford are going to pick up that book. Why? Because they're going to say, well, I like Michael Ford. I bought all his books. I know his books. If Michael Ford's doing a forward for this guy, you know, like it must be good shit. You know, and that puts me into a position like, well, fuck. Like, you know, I gotta meet this expectation.
Also, can I just
interject?
A little bit of a different perspective. Like, even though he hasn't read the book, perhaps just through talking to you, he decided that you know your shit, and he felt like you were the kind of person's works that he would support. You know.
True.
Yeah, like you're saying he was just offering because he liked you as a person, but at the same time, like just because you like someone as a person doesn't necessarily mean you're going to agree with their work. So it could be further than that, more so that the topics and discussions you had with him, he agreed enough that he would be like, you know what, I would put my name on this. I would support this.
Well, yeah, I agree, Brooke. I think he's aware of what Malice is trying to do, and I think, you know, being aware of that, he supports the cause. He likes his attitude, and he knows he's not a dumbass. He knows how to spell a word.
Yeah.
There's too many people in the occult community that claim to cast spells, but they can't even fucking spell.
Okay, but for real, as if like every freaking even Notepad has a spell checker, y'all. Like, come on.
I mean, yeah, so yeah, definitely. I mean, Ford wouldn't put his name on something he would think is garbage. That much I know. So I wouldn't be that apprehensive. And I wouldn't consider it a favor. What I will say is I know about the Luciferian ideology. I am a Luciferian because I'm not one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take titles lightly. And he's got, in the back of his mind, he knows he's going to benefit.
Of course, yeah, definitely. Like,
and there's, what the fuck's wrong with that though, guys?
No, nothing at all. Like, I'm not even like remotely worried in any way, shape, or form about him benefiting off of, like, you know, putting his name on my book. I'm honored that he would want to, you know, after, you know, having 2 conversations with me, you know, be willing to put his name, you know, on a publication that I'm trying to put out. Like, I'm honored. Like, I've, you know, but there's that part of me, obviously, that kind of came in the back of my head. This is my first publication, and I'm worried that, you know, any sales that are made off of it are going to be made because of his name, not mine. You know, and like that's kind of like where, like, I fall into it. And I understand, like, authors helping authors. Like, I get that. You know, like, hey, I believe in what you're doing. I think you're doing good content, and I'm gonna assist you in doing this. You know. Maybe it's just me being fucking weird, you know, like, you know, judging by Curtis's face, he's like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. But, you know.
Well, then also another thing is, like, you know, it really comes down to, like, why are you writing the book? Or Baphomet, right?
Well, because I think exactly. Because the thing is, I think that there's information.
So getting it out there as much as possible would benefit Baphomet most.
The important thing is that there's too many modern misconceptions, you know, about what Baphomet is or isn't, that people don't bother putting enough energy into trying to figure something out. Like, people regurgitate shit that, you know, they keep hearing, you know, in, like, you know, other podcasts and books and shit like that Baphomet's just a representation and shit like that. It's like, in my opinion, I'm not being judgmental to anyone, but in my opinion, if you sit there and you say that Baphomet is not an actual entity, that Baphomet is nothing more than a representation of the occult, 1, you have not done enough research, and 2, you've never attempted to work with Baphomet. And on those 2 bases alone, you have no room to speak about Baphomet.
Yeah, I think that might be a little short-sighted. I understand that from your perspective, but if other people don't believe that,
no, I get that. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm not being judgmental. Like, if that's what people, like, believe, I'm not going to sit here and try to fight them. I'm not going to try to fight them on that, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, don't fight me on it, but you literally just said, if you don't believe this, then you're not going deep enough. That's judgmental about somebody else's. Maybe they went deep enough for them, and that's their representation of it. It's not to negate what you're feeling. No,
I understand, but I can't agree with someone saying that Baphomet is just a representation of the occult, you know, pictorially, because of the extensive experience that I have working with Baphomet. I can't settle on that. I can say, if that's your perspective,
you shouldn't. But don't. I wouldn't say that other people didn't go deep enough. That's where I have a problem. You didn't go deep enough because you didn't work with Jesus, sir. You got to be careful with that. To my opinion, I agree with you. We've had this conversation. I don't like, and I use Cara Dwyn as my example because she has the big cauldron, right? I don't see Cara Dwyn up in the sky stirring her cauldron. That doesn't mean I don't believe that she is a separate entity or representation or more than that. It just means that that's not how I visualize it. However, if somebody were to come to me and tell me, which they do often, well, you just haven't found Jesus yet. That's what that sounds like. I'm just saying.
I see your point. Curtis, what do you think?
Yeah, point made, and I definitely get the point. But Michael specifically, his views on Baphomet are interesting. Within the Order of Phosphorus, we were taught that Baphomet was pretty much synonymous with Tubal-Cain, the son of Cain. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's taught within the lodge. I agree to disagree, though. You know what I mean? But see, there's a different level of depth there. For me, Baphomet is a different way of pictorially representing the dragon. To me, Baphomet represents all that is. above and below, Solve Coagula, right?
Totally agree.
The animals and the beasts of the field, male, female,
yes.
right? And so, there's different levels of depth. So what's deep for one person might not be deep for someone like you, who has thrust a lot of their entire occult experience into it.
Yes.
Because Baphomet is pretty much the nucleus of all of your spiritual work.
Yes.
For me, it's different because the dragon, to me, is a meta god type concept that represents all celestial and infernal forces, angels and demons. They are all scales on the body of the one.
Yes.
So, you guys both have really great points. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to fucking publishing, here's the thing. You're always going to have the pre-fight jitters. You're always going to wonder, okay, is this really going to be good? When I published Black Magic of Ahriman, that motherfucker sold out. That motherfucker sold out. It was taken very well. And then my biggest fear was, how in the fuck am I going to compete with that? How am I going to beat that?
To compete with your own shit, yeah.
Right. And it's always going to be something. You know what I mean? I'm going to grab my charger real quick, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, like, the biggest thing, like, do a children's book. There you go, Behemoth. I would totally do one. Like, I'm an artist. I'm a designer. Like,
ooh, I've been wanting to do that for a while.
We should work on one together.
Oh my gosh, yes, please.
I would be totally down to do that. Like, tell me when and where, and we'll fucking, I'll do it.
Yes, please.
You're stealing my dreams, y'all.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do like almost like a rewrite of like ancient mythos in a children book with a more positive perspective on daemons, as it were. Like, for example, Asmodeus' story, him quote unquote trying to steal, damn, I can't remember her name right now, but trying to steal her from her husbands and killing her husbands. Like, what if in reality she called him up and asked for help because she didn't want to get freaking married off?
Yep. Mm-hmm. No, I'm totally down. Like, we should definitely talk. Like, hit me up and we will have that conversation. Another thing I'm looking at doing is, like, with everybody on here, like, Curtis, Mystic, Brooke, fucking Orly, all of you guys, I want to do a documentary with all of you. Bonnie,
yeah, man.
I want to get, like, I want to sit down with all of you in a conversation. And after I'm done, after the release of this book, I want to do a documentary based off of basically just all of our experiences and results in the occult and why exactly based on results, right? Exactly. And why it is that each of us feel like we're getting results and what it is that we're doing in our respective areas, because each of us are we're very similar, but we're very much like very different.
Yep.
So like that's the next thing that I'm looking at doing is a documentary with all of you. So like expect to be hearing from me like in a month or so with that. But yeah, like
that's one thing I respect Orly for the same fucking reasons. I know that sister has fucking experience. Experience. He was taught.
Yeah, no, like,
and it's no offense to anybody that is self-taught, but there comes a point where you earn the right to start integrating your own creative juice.
Yeah, definitely. No, like, I mean, the two people that when I hear them talk about their experiences send waves through my body and soul would have to be Behemoth X and Orly. Those two, like, when they start talking about the shit that they do and they start showing you the shit that they do, like, you feel that shit. You feel it. Like Behemoth, I've been trying to get Behemoth on the show for fucking ever now. I'm honored that he's a member of the community in the chat regularly. But I've been trying to get his happy ass on the fucking for an interview for fucking ever. Like it's like for me, like if to get Behemoth X on the channel for an interview would be like akin to like a goth rock program getting like Marilyn Manson or fucking Trent Reznor. You know, like that for me like is like that on that level. You know, I would put like, even though like Ford has been in the game, I guess longer than Behemoth has, there's just something about the way Behemoth does shit that just fucking resonates with me. Like when I see his shit and I watch his videos, like it's like I never miss a video. Like when shit, as soon as that shit's published, like I'm on it and I'm watching it. And I know I sound like a complete fucking fanboy right now, but you know, it just is what it is.
I really fucking get it, man, because listen, to a certain point, when people fucking listen to me, they think they're listening to a goddamn college fucking professor. It can be dry. You know what I mean? It can be rather laborious to sit there and learn from me. Now, granted, I have students, we're not even into month 2 of the fucking apprentice course, and they're just like,
dude, but that's what I love about your shit though. Like I watch your shit as well. Like I at first, like I think maybe like going back maybe like a year, I didn't know you had a channel and did your own shit. And then like when it came up on my recommended, because like, okay, here's another thing. Point of fucking character. I've had Curtis on this channel, on this podcast several times. Neither Bonnie or Curtis had ever mentioned that Curtis had a channel where he did his own shit. For me, that's a point of fucking character. Motherfucker's not looking for fucking, you know, sales and shit. He's not trying to advertise. He's on here for the conversation. He's not on here for the reach.
Yeah, exactly. I love my people, man. You know. And I don't say that lightly. I love people, but I don't like the way people behave. But when I get involved with like-minded individuals, like even the last fucking time I was on with Brooke and what was the other gentleman's name?
Biker Witch.
Yeah, Biker Witch, man. Like, we can sit and have these discussions and flat out disagree, but still be cordial and fucking respectful. That to me is a point of character. Yes. And once that happens, I love you. It's the way it is. I got your back.
No, you guys are fucking amazing. I was shocked. Initially I was worried because I know you to be a very strong personality, and I also know Bikerwitz to be a very strong personality. Yeah. And so like putting the two of you in the same fucking panel, like I was like, it's gonna be good, but I'm worried. Get me started. Like I'm worried about where it's gonna go, because I know that neither of you have any qualms of saying no. I completely fucking disagree with you, you know. Right. And dude, like the two of you were complete fucking gentlemen, like all the way through. Like there was no fights, there was no like nothing. It was fucking amazing. Like I couldn't have asked for like a better combination of people.
Yeah, and that's, dude, to me, bro, that's a real person who is seeking to expand consciousness. Because I'm not going to sit there and judge somebody for not agreeing with me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take that opinion, I'm going to absorb it, I'm going to assimilate it, and I'm going to use that to expand my consciousness. That's the whole fucking point. You know? And if it challenges my view on shit, then maybe I've got to really fucking look at things and iron out the wrinkles in my worldview.
Yep.
It's called being honest with yourself. Because there's people out there, dude, that want to be right all the time. And I get accused of it way too much. I get sick and tired of fucking hearing it. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm right when I'm right. And that's just...
Dude, there's a reason.
I'm also wrong.
The second time we had you, the first time we didn't have you on too long because there was connection issues because you guys are out in the fucking woods. But there's a reason why, like the second time we had you and Bonnie on, dude, it was a 5-hour fucking podcast, man. Yes. We went 5 fucking hours.
Yeah.
Dude, that
deep fucking conversation, man.
That shit's fucking magic. To me, that's fucking magic. Like, I know some people in the community are going to look at that video and be like, fuck, dude, 5 hours?
Yeah.
That was
But
fun.
bro, it was about fucking hard things too, hard topics. And that's one example, Malice. Because you said, maybe if you would have called this motherfucker out a long time ago, none of this shit would be going down. And I had to really think about that. And you were right. You were right. I should have called the motherfucker out. I felt the same way as Malice did. Turn the other cheek.
Dude,
Or
this
don't
book,
give it
man.
any energy.
Dude, this fucking book, man. Like, I mean, for me, like, for me, it's not a religious tome. It's a philosophy on how to live your life. And like, that's why I brought that up to you.
Life.
Yeah, that's why I brought that up to you during that podcast. Is like, I wasn't judging you for not doing it, but I was like, it was like kind of saying like, maybe you should have, like, if you had these feelings like at a particular initial point, maybe like you should have said something, because you're articulate, you're well spoken, you come across as you know what the fuck you're talking about. And that's not to say that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but it's a point of contention to sit there and say that people that don't know you, when they're listening to you, there's a reason why you come across like you know what the fuck you're talking about. You've been around the block. You've been through shit. You've had the experience. That's why you come across like you know what the fuck you're talking about. And I'll never negate you that ever. My only point of contention was, dude, you know what the fuck you're talking about. You should have said, in my opinion, you should have said something. Like, because when I listen to co-editing and I listen to you, dude, like, and in my personal opinion, fuck co-editing, man. I prefer to listen to you, because
I am in agreement.
Like, co-editing to me was about the theatrics. Like that
Marketing.
was like co-editing to me really, like, just like Anton LaVey, he knew how to
Sales and marketing.
He knew how to manipulate the energy and pull people in on shit that, in my opinion, didn't fucking matter. Like, and I say this from experience, I've watched like, before his channel was taken down, I watched most of co-editing's videos because I have a podcast about this shit. And I knew that the level that co-editing was at, eventually, grant you, I didn't know that it was going to be in the context that it was about, but I knew eventually the topic of co-editing was going to come up. I knew that was going to happen because of the level that he was at, inside of the community and the amount of people he had following him. I knew it was going to happen. So I made it a point to watch most of his videos, and I don't want to be an asshole, but it was fucking torturous. Yeah. To go through a catalog of well over 200 videos plus, and
nothing but fucking infomercials.
Exactly. Just
constant... I never really watched for him very much for that reason. That's just not my vibe.
And so it's just this constant regurgitation.
Mark Girl.
Yeah, it's just like, go to bald.co/fuck your mother, and buy this book. It's like, dude, like, do the fucking ritual. Like, like, stop with the theatrics. Like, the theatrics are cool in movies. It's cool for an intro. Like, if I'm watching, I want to fucking learn something. And so, like, when you talk about yourself, talking about like a professor or something like that, dude, from one professor to another. Dude, I've been teaching English for 16 fucking years, right? I'm an English professor of the English language. I've been doing it for 16 fucking years. So from one professor to another, that we need more of that, because the people that are like co-editing, that's a cash grab. What you're trying to do is actually trying to fucking show somebody something.
Yeah.
I would... Go ahead, Brooke.
I was going to say, I also feel like, I don't know, it also really misleads people, because a lot of people get, from the occult side of things, people who go into the occult, I feel like they would watch his videos and be like, wow, or read his books and read all these extreme examples of manifestation. And so when they don't reach that level pretty quickly, I feel like they just get disheartened and turn away from it. And then on the other hand, that also speaks to like the crazy ass people who are trying to create another satanic panic, because it makes it seem so movie-esque.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is like what I was gonna say is like I would compare Curtis. I would compare you like I would put you at the same level as Behemoth and fucking Ford, in saying that like I look at the three of you as like the Gary V of fucking the occult. Like I don't know if you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. You know,
He's nuts, by the way, but he's got some energy on him.
like the dude knows what the fuck he's talking about because he's got the money to back it, right? Like when it comes to business, right? Like garage
Even before
sale.
he had the money, he was able to do his shit.
Oh yeah. Even before he had the money, he was able to do his shit. But it was after he got the money that he said, "Okay, I can tell people how to do what the fuck it is, and everything's free." Like that's his big thing. He's like, I could easily fucking come up with a course and sell you guys a fucking course. I don't do that. I record everything I fucking do and give it to you guys for free. Like,
yeah, man.
You know, and the thing is I look at like you, and you know Behemoth and fucking you know Ford. And like you guys are doing the same thing, man. Like, you know, all this like fucking knowledge that you've gathered over the years and decades doing the shit that you do, working with the people that you work with and throwing this shit out there constantly. You guys are all over the place. You know, like especially like Bonnie, I give you fucking credit too, you know? Like, you know, like just like fucking putting your shit out there, fucking Instagram, fucking, you know, Twitter, goddamn fucking doing your shit with fucking fucking god damn it, I can't remember his fucking name. Fucking Taurus there, fucking Crimson Taurus. You know,
Melvin.
Yeah, Melvin. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know,
fucking
like
Taurus, man.
Yeah, you know, doing your shit with him. You know, like I love seeing people like you in the community. When I look at fucking Nate Bales and Scarlett Bales, you know, like I mean, I'll give you an example. Like I mean, I'm in therapy with Scarlett. Scarlett is my therapist. You know. And you know the fact Scarlett's not charging me a fucking dime. Like Scarlett just wants to fucking help me, you know. And like when I see people in the community doing that shit, dude, I like what Curtis said. I love my fucking people. Like you know, we've never met face to face, and the possibility of us all meeting face to face is probably slim. But it doesn't matter. I love you guys, all of you, Bonnie. Curtis, Mystic, fucking Brooke, fucking Behemoth, you know, Scarlett, Nate, all of you guys, like, you guys are family, you know, and, you know, what we're doing, what all of us are doing individually and collectively is extremely important for the community.
Yeah.
Because...
Yeah, and it's real.
Exactly.
Right. See, because here's the thing. Michael W. Ford, man, you want to know why I know he's an actual practitioner? He's not a one-trick pony. You know what I mean? He's not just about magic. The dude's done ritual music, black metal. You know what I mean? The dude's got talent, and he's used magic to develop and cultivate these things in his life. It's enriched the entirety of his life experience. You know? So whereas you look at somebody like EA, Timothy Donahue made that man. He thinks he made himself. He's not self-made. Well, he was a shy little fat kid.
I just looked at. I don't want to be judged. Yeah, I don't want to be judgmental, but like even with co-editing, like I mean, I looked at like for example, like his backdrop, you know, his so-called temple, right? And I looked at the things that he had in his temple, and some of it, like because I'm a goth kid, you know, I'm a '90s goth kid. Like some of it's like, oh yeah, that's fucking cool, but it didn't feel like it. Like for me personally, looking at
too theatrical.
Yeah, it looked too theatrical. It didn't feel like a temple. It felt like a TV set,
a movie set.
Yeah, like it's like, dude, like you're not in your. You know, I don't feel like you're in your temple. I feel like you're on a fucking movie set. You're trying to sell something, you know.
Right.
You know, it was just too much for me. And again, this is not against anybody that likes co-editing. If you like co-editing, then fuck it, man. Like co-editing. Like, you know, I don't give a shit. Like that's on you, you know, but I mean, these are just my opinions.
There's nothing of him left. Yeah. He's got 600 or 700 followers on Odyssey. Like that's a reflection of his actual popularity. You know what I mean? But you're so right, bro. And this is the thing. When I was working for those people, they forced me to move in that same direction. They forced it. Dude, they wanted me to dress like something out of Assassin's Creed. They wanted me to change my jeans and t-shirts outlook on life. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They said, oh, well, you can't do rituals in the spare room anymore. You got to create a more professional ambiance. So the money that I made from my first ritual working with him, I literally had to buy a temple building because I thought I was still going to be working with these motherfuckers.
Yep.
Stained everything fucking black, dude. I hung up fucking torches. I had fucking thousands of dollars upon thousands of dollars of fucking grimoires by so many different authors, dude. NAA 218, Mark Allen Smith, and, you know, Jesus Christ, magical mirrors and portals. For what? You know, that's not everybody can do that. And people are going to think that's what equates to being a fucking magician. And it's not true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're right. Dude, this is why I tell people, like, this thing you see, that's a fucking rug on my wall, dude. That is a fucking area rug on my fucking wall. Like, I don't have the money to buy, you know, an actual carved stone or wood fucking, you know, sigil to put on my wall. I went to fucking Killstar and I bought that and I nailed it to my fucking wall. Mm-hmm. But you know what?
Why not?
It works for me.
And it still looks cool. I think it looks great. Yeah, it creates the exact ambiance that you need for this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
No, exactly. You know, and it's just like one of the biggest things that I think that a lot of people are missing inside of the occult is the DIY aspect of the occult. Like making your own shit, like the power that comes from making your own shit and putting your energy into making something instead of going to an online store and saying, well, I need to buy this, and this, and that. Like this fucking, that fucking ritual fucking thing that fucking Coetting was selling.
Universal Circle?
Yeah, the Universal Circle was like fucking like $200 fucking for a piece of fabric with a red circle on the fucking thing. It's like, dude, etch that shit out in the ground, man. Like, grab a piece of chalk and fucking just etch it out. Paint a spot on the floor in fucking, I don't know, chalk paint and chalk your circles out. You know, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, but $200 for a fucking tapestry that goes on your floor? Like, I can't justify that shit, man.
No, me neither. Me neither. And it pisses me off, bro, because they sit there. Ah, man. Yeah. No, fuck that. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there, dude. Because it isn't. I mean, listening to... Here's what... Okay. EA, $2,000 for a fucking ritual. $2,000. People fucking paid it. And before I was brought on to become a living god after he tried to fire me, and Timothy called him a dumbass because my book was selling and nothing else was, they said, okay, dude, do you have anything to contribute to the 9 demonic gatekeepers? Because EA is going to start this series. And at the time, it was just supposed to be EA writing these books.
Yep.
And then they pulled me on. And then EA found out. He's like, oh no, we can't have that contrast. We're going to pull on shit that's already been fucking published. So he pulled on Aseneth Mason and Edgar Kerwal. But at any rate, I asked Timothy, how many signups does he typically get for a ritual? Because as a favor, Timothy said, I'll even let you do rituals with EA. Make a couple extra dollars because you don't really make shit from writing. And you don't. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, he gets about 12 signups. You'll get 50% of the profit. First ritual, I step up. 40 fucking signups. Do the math. $2,000. They handed me $8,000 knowing that I would run with it. But that wasn't 50%.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's all a cash grab. They will exploit you and your talent.
Yep.
So that they don't have to have any of their own.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
Yeah, no, you're right. And so I do want to comment. So Behemoth X says, I used it and it works very well for me. The universal circle is awesome. And you know what? That's the thing. Like, I mean, if it works for you and you've got the, you know, the economic ability to drop $200, you know, for that thing and use it and have it, then go for it. For me personally, I think $200 or $100 and whatever dollars it is for that goddamn thing. Because I looked at it, I found it on Etsy, right? Like, because they sell it through Etsy, and I was like, because I kind of wanted to buy one because I was like, oh, that looks pretty fucking cool. Because I wanted something, you know, for the floor. I use another rug, a different, you know, sigil rug from Killstar on the floor in front of my altar here, you know, for that purpose, you know, because I couldn't justify dropping over $100, almost $200 on the gun. I couldn't justify it. I couldn't justify that expenditure.
Maybe that's what makes it work or makes it doesn't. Not to sound like an idiot, but I mean, seriously, maybe it just is. Because, like, for me, dude, at the Book of Azazel, it was EA kick rocks because he put Belial in the South. That's fucking retarded.
Mm-hmm.
He is Lord of the Earth, Lord of the Abyss, so you could get away with putting him in the West. You can't put Belial in the South. And then to sit there and call Azazel a demonic anything. He's not a fucking demon. He's a watcher. Completely different class of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know he didn't do his fucking academic research, number one. And without academic research, you have no real authentic magic.
I agree.
You can't make shit up. I mean, you can. And if...
You're right,
but
you
You can.
Are you going to disrespect Israel regarding? Are you going to disrespect Aleister Crowley? Are you going to, you know, we have predecessors that gave us keys to make this shit fucking work.
Yep.
And to sit there and have this woke attitude, like, oh, I do what I want.
I love how you went all Southern with that.
I do what I want. Rough part.
No, you're right. You're right, man. Like, I mean, the thing is so like one of the things like was one of the reasons why like I'm doing like the book on Baphomet, there's a specific reason why the book is called The Conversations with the Horned One. Because I want to set it apart from any other tome that exists currently about Baphomet. Because currently what we have about Baphomet deals with what we've learned through Levy and Aleister Crowley and, you know, things like that. That's what we currently have. And let's be completely honest with ourselves. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. We've got the history, how it was created, and then how it's used. But beyond that, there's not a lot beyond that. The book the book that I'm putting together goes far, far, far beyond the history. Is there a section on the history of Baphomet? And do I talk about Aleister Crowley? Do I talk about Levy? Yes, of course I do. I have to. Like, you know, like just to be out of fucking respect, you know, like I have to. So of course I talk about them in the book. But when we go beyond that point, when we go beyond like the Aleister Crowley stage of our understanding of Baphomet and the usage of Baphomet inside a ritual and things like that, is where we really start getting into this is how you know Baphomet is an entity. Right? These are the things, these are the cues, these are the calls that you're going to be getting to work. And this is also why, you know, Baphomet was represented in this particular manner. All of these entities are new names for old gods, and they exist. They come to being the way that they choose to come to being, how they want you as the practitioner to currently understand their position inside of the occult and inside of your practice. Baphomet is truly a point of faith, because Baphomet exists from a point of what has been the point of contention with Baphomet is that Baphomet was nothing more than a linguistic understanding with the Knights Templar. That
Right.
The Arabs that they were fighting against at the time were saying Muhammad, not Baphomet, and it was a linguistic misunderstanding. That representation, that come through, is it's a show of faith. If you truly want balance spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally in your life, it's a matter of faith, not in Baphomet, but of self. To believe in Baphomet as an entity isn't of blind faith of Baphomet, but faith of yourself, and understanding that regardless of what this says, I believe this. And when you have that belief of self, that trust in who you are as a person, who you are as a practitioner, and what you're practicing, you put your faith into oneself, then you begin to truly manifest the balance in your life. Once you have a hold of yourself. So that is kind of like where kind of like the book kind of begins to kind of delve outside of what is already been written about Baphomet.
Mm-hmm. And man, people will like that. I mean, I've got to be honest. When I fucking first started writing, I would include a lot of the ritual gnosis that the entities gave me, and I would include a lot of my own experiences. Working with Grimoire of the Black Dragon, there's just not enough fucking room. Mm-hmm. Like, it gets to the point to where I'm not publishing a Bible. I've got to actually make this feasible.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, does my own fucking experience matter? No. But let me tell you something. That's what people want.
Mm-hmm.
People want to know about the experience. But now I'm like weighing it. And it's more important that I let people thrust themselves into their own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
yes,
people
definitely.
love that shit, dude. Like, they read some of the things that these spirits have told me. And, bro, I've had clients from NASA. Like, what the fuck do you know about dark matter? And that's not a fucking lie.
I believe it.
You know what I mean? It's shit that it was uncovering science. And people, they're like, wow, holy fuck. They want to read that. And, you know, looking back, I just think that there's a point in time where I have to draw the line. And as a teacher, because I'm not an occult author, dude. I am an occultist who just happens to fucking record their shit when they do it. And
exactly.
What's more important? It's the reader that's important, not Curtis.
Exactly. Well, I gotta. So Behemoth says, I see a lot of people that really beat the fuck out of EA, but I'll tell you something that he has done for me. I got to know Curtis, Joseph, JS, JD, Temple, even Nate and Scarlett through him, and for that I'm grateful to EA. Look, I don't know the man. I've never had an experience with him. All I know is what people have told me. I've heard people say good things. I've heard people say bad things. I have no judgment on his character as a person because I don't know him personally to make a judgment on his character. I don't. Regardless of how many people I have come to me telling me that he's a horrible fucking person, I can't make that judgment because I haven't had the experience. I've never had a conversation with him. I invited him on. He sent me one email. I never heard back from him. I mean, I was direct and honest with him. I told him I don't like your videos for this reason. I told him why I don't like his videos, because it feels like an infomercial. I told him directly. He sent me an email. He's like, yeah, I got a lot of requests. You know, what is it we're going to talk about? And I told him directly, I've watched most of your videos. I'm not a fan because it feels like an infomercial, but I still like to have you on the show. You know, I'm not gonna bullshit anybody. I'm not gonna sit there and kiss his ass to get him on the show.
Right.
I'm not gonna kiss anybody's ass to get them on the show. If I don't like your shit, I'm gonna tell you I don't like your shit. If I like your shit, I'll tell you that I like it. It's that simple. Like there's no ifs, ands, buts, ups, downs, lefts, rights. It is what it is. So my judgment is purely contextual to the content that the man has produced. I am not a fan of the content that the man made. Regardless of whether or not people think he's a good person, think he's a bad person, I'm not a fan of his content. Now, do I have my own opinions about what people have told me about him? Of course I do. I'm fucking human. Like when, you know, people come to me and say that, you know, that like, you know, he's a piece of shit, he's done this, that, and the next thing. Well, it's like, obviously in my mind, if this is true, the key word there being if this is true, then yeah, he's a piece of shit, in my opinion. If this is true and this is what's happened, but has the man done anything to me? He hasn't done shit to me. He hasn't done a fucking thing to me. Like, so I can't judge him on that basis that he's done anything to me. My judgment is purely based off of his content. And when I talk to, for example, when I talk to Curtis, when Curtis sits there and he tells me about the things that he went through with co-editing, right? I'm going to be empathetic to what Curtis is telling me and be like, well, you should have said something. You should have spoke up in the moment and cut that shit off at the fucking root when it started happening, right? When we had that initial, that doesn't mean that I'm sitting there and saying that, oh yeah, co-editing definitely did this, but I'm not going to sit here and deny a man's experience either. You know, I'm not going to do that. So one thing I want the community to understand is, like, when it comes to a situation like this, I'm in quite a peculiar situation, right? Because the thing is I'm not going to pass judgment on a man that's done nothing to me, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell another person that their experience didn't happen. So, you know, and I'm going to resonate with the person that's telling me about their experience as if that experience happened to me, because I want to understand how that person feels. So when Curtis tells me his experiences, I'm resonating with the man. Like I'm on that level, right? I'm on that level with him, and I'm empathizing with his situation and his experiences, and I will never negate what he's been through or what he hasn't been through. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, see, I want to make one thing clear, too, Malice, if you don't mind, bro.
Go for it, man.
If people like EA co-editing's work and they get good results from it, so be it. That's fine. You know, I don't mind. All I know is that I don't judge the man for his occult work. I don't judge the man for how he does things. I will continue to beat up on him because I've been beat up by him for years. You know what I mean? I spent 3 years as a single dad. Okay, and now my baby's mother talking to his little fucking girlfriend that was my ex. It's because of them that I now can't talk to my child. It's been close to a year since I've even been able to talk to my own child. Behemoth, you're a father. How would you feel about that? You wouldn't like it. So, yeah, go ahead. Read EA's books, buy his video courses. If I see him, I'm going to break his fucking neck. He's threatened my life. He's threatened my fucking life. Said he's going to fucking kill me. I'm going to break his fucking neck. Fuck him.
And just for
Garrett, fuck them all.
Just for context, I'm gonna throw this out there. What Curtis has just said is not a direct threat towards EA co-editing. It is for emotional context. So
yeah,
we're gonna put that out there.
Disclaimer.
It's for emotional context only.
I mean, dude, I could tell. I'll show people the direct threats, but this isn't even. It's not even here nor there. What matters is this to me, man. It's fucking doing what's right. And I'm sorry, what's right is a dude needs his ass handed to him. He needs knocked off his fucking pedestal. And he has been. And it's just starting. It's just starting.
No, dude, I feel you. And the thing is though, like, I haven't been through what you've been through. So for those that don't know, the texts and the messages that Curtis is talking about, I have seen. Okay, they have been shared with me. Now, there's a reason why, even though I was given permission, there's a reason why I've never showed it on the show. It's not my place. It's not my place to grab a corner like that. Now, seeing the things that I've seen, there's a reason why I can empathize with Curtis on a very heavy level, because I've seen the text messages. I've heard the audio. There's audio messages. There's voice messages. I've heard them. Right? Like, it's the man's not talking out of his ass. Now, even with the proof that I've seen, I can't go to the level that Curtis is going because it hasn't affected me in the way that it affects Curtis. But
right, and I wouldn't expect anyone to.
But you better be damn sure that Curtis and Bonnie being basically family to this channel, I am fully like on their side. If they ever need anything from me, I'm going to be there for them. Right? Am I going to go out on the attack on co-editing? No, I'm not going to go on the attack on co-editing. There's no point. It's a waste of energy. There's enough channels out there that have done that. It's not necessary, right? And that's okay. That's okay. That's not a problem. It's not a problem to me that's that's the situation. I know a lot of people, it's very difficult for a lot of you to understand how I sit on things, because I generally don't go to extremes. Like, I'm not sitting here saying fuck co-editing. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's me, guy.
Yeah, right. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm not a fan of his videos because I'm not a fan of the infomercial style of his videos, but that's a completely different fucking point. Right? Like, but I have no personal beef with co-editing. But like I said, I'm also not going to negate Bonnie or Nora or Curtis, the beef that they have with someone else. Right? And also here's the thing. Bonnie, Curtis, and Nora, the three of them, I told them before I invited co-editing on the show. I told them, hey, I'm going to invite co-editing on the show. Are you okay with this? Right? Because I do view, and all of them, yeah, go for it. Do it. And I said, you have to, I told them, and Curtis can vouch for me on this. I told them, I'm not going to bring him on to attack him. I'm going to bring him on to give his side of the story.
Let's hear it. Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, yeah, that's fine. That's good. That's okay. That's not a problem.
Yeah, bro. And I would, let me hear it out. That's the thing. He won't talk to me. Never would. Motherfucker runs like Forrest Gump.
Well, that was the thing.
Or cries on camera. The moment I pop up on a live stream, he starts fucking getting all teary-eyed. But listen, that's neither here nor there. The point is, that's not even an issue anymore. So what we need is more Malice. What we need is more Behemoth X. What we need is more Brooke. What we need is more Orly, Bonnie. Fucking people that have good character, experience under their belt, and the willingness to fucking help others. People that aren't trying to fucking sell wolf tickets and profit. I mean, come on, $2,000 is overkill.
Yeah.
$2,000 is overkill. Now, no, not knocking is something. It's a hustle. If people are going to pay it, so be it. But, I'm sorry. I'm not really impressed with someone lopping a chicken's head off in my name. That's not impressive. It had no real fucking effect.
Mm-hmm.
And, come on. Are you fucking serious? You know what that is? It is an outlet for murderous tendencies. The dude likes killing.
Again, something that I can't comment on. I mean, I've seen things that kind of raise suspicions, but I can't directly comment on it. Again, I can't confirm or deny anything. But I'm also not going to sit here and tell.
Agree he's stuffed.
That he's what?
Stuffed.
Oh, that he's sus? Oh yeah, 100%. Like that we can agree on. Like that he's suspect, yes. But I'm not, but and the thing is like, and this is a hurtful position for me too, because the thing is like, I would love nothing more than to look at Curtis and be like, dude, I'm 100% with you, brother. Like, fuck him, fuck this guy. I want to give that to you, but I can't. You know?
No, I don't want it. I
know?
don't want it. My experience is mine, and I'm going to own it. It's not about anybody else and me. I don't need anyone else to stand with me. That's where people are confused. I will always stand alone. I have stood alone for years. I did it on the streets of Cleveland. Do it here and now.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
It's not that I don't stand with you. Like, when you tell me your stories, when you tell me what you've been through, like, in that moment, dude, I'm with you. Like, I'm 100%. Like, I agree with you 100%. Like, you know, on the basis of, like, I have to take things from a hypothetical perspective. Did we lose Curtis?
It would appear so.
We did.
Bonnie. I don't think he bounced out because his hands were in the air. Like, I don't think he left.
So either.
I think his shit just died.
Yeah, he did say something about getting a charger. So I don't know if he did that or not.
No, I'm pretty sure he already did, but like maybe it just wasn't charging fast enough. You know, but you know, so just to kind of finish what I'm saying, and I feel weird saying it without Curtis here, but like when Curtis tells me the things that he tells me about the things that about the things he's been through in that moment, I'm with him 100%. But I have to keep things on a hypothetical level. As a host of a podcast that's 100% about the occult, I have to keep things hypothetical.
That's why I'm so quiet in all this conversation, because I'm not a part of this.
Uh-huh.
Like, it never's been in my purview, and I'm assuming that's why, we're not mentioned in part of that process, because we never were a part of it and never planned to be. So can't really speak on it. The only thing you can speak on is the systems and processes that you are a part of, or that you have heard about, that you actually can, give an opinion on, right?
Mm-hmm. He'll be back in a sec. All right, cool, Bonnie. And I feel bad too, because I also, like, for example, I know Behemoth X is friends with EA, and I know we're kind of ripping into EA right now, and there's going to be a part of, like, I've seen it, like, Behemoth's been very respectful, but there's going to be a part of Behemoth that's going to want to defend his friend, and that's understandable. And I don't want to come across as like an EA hater, but at the same time, I don't want to come across as an EA lover either. Like, I'm neither, right? I'm neither here nor there, right? Like, my experience with co-editing deals solely with his videos, and that's it. And the very brief communication that I had with him trying to get him on the show, which was never responded to. So, it is what it is, but I respect Behemoth for being friends with EA. Like, if he's friends with EA, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Like, what's that have to do with me? It has nothing to fucking do with me. Like, if Mystic, my co-host, he's like, dude, co-editing's my new best friend. We're having a barbecue next weekend. It has fucking nothing to do with me.
Barbecue chicken.
Right, there you go. Like, it has nothing to fucking do with me. Like, I have no input on the matter. Like, all right, cool, dude. Like, whatever, fuck it. Why do I give a shit? So it's a precarious position that I'm in when it comes to these types of conversations, because I want to be there and support the people that I care about, but at the same time, like, I have to be realistic. I have to be non-judgmental as much as humanly possible.
It all goes back to my, we've had this conversation ad nauseum, and I just like saying ad nauseum, so I throw it in there every once in a while. It's a good phrase. You should use it often, because it reminds people that sometimes a lot of what we do is talk, because we talk through our thoughts and our ideas that may never even come to fruition or need to actually exist in the real world. But we have to talk about our opinions so that we can formulate structures so that we can then use those structures to make decisions that help us in our life and do whatever it is we're going to do. And I think that's where it comes into place. I never watched any of Ia Quetting's video except for the snotty apology one. The only video I've ever seen. So I have zero opinion. What I do have an opinion on is seeing the fallout from all the individuals in it. I can only judge those that I've actually interacted with. And that hasn't been all that much. Orly Stewart, most of them on the show, right? Orly Stewart's amazing. Obviously, I've met a lot of people through this show and through some of those people, and all of that stuff. It comes down to you're allowed to have an opinion. We're allowed to have what we think about something as long as we're not so focused on deciding who and what they are, on that. And that's okay. And it's just like the comment you made about me being best friends with Coetting. If that ever did happen, it would probably be because I don't and was not part of the structure that was around when that occurred. And that's how people can have such different opinions on the same person. Like some people be like, oh, this is the most amazing person I've ever met. They're so kind and gentle and friendly. And then you think that they're a complete asshole jerk and wouldn't give anybody the time of the day because of a situation that occurred. The difference is his situation little more visible to the world. And a little more of a platform. And it is also one of the things that comes with the responsibility of having a platform, right? And really staying focused in. But I guess in the end, for me, it just turns out like at some point, that person has to answer to their own things that have occurred and have happened within their own situation. And us continuing to forever repeat it or reiterate it or bring it continually back up is never going to allow that to happen.
I think like, I mean, so I think personally, like what I'm seeing with, like, at least right now with the situation currently, I think that it's just something that, Curtis needed to get out. It's something that I feel that maybe, there's a certain point where, people just need to get shit out. And so if it's something, if it's a topic that we need to touch on for a few seconds, then it's a topic that we need to touch on for a few seconds. I know that we've talked about it ad nauseum. We have two videos on the subject. But like I said, I mean, Curtis is, family to the channel, and if the man needs to express a point, if he needs to express an emotion, a feeling, then I want to give him that platform to do so. And
fair enough. I just think that we can do it without the person. We can discuss and have outlets, and we can have conversation about processes, things, decisions, outcomes. At some point, we have to move on.
I agree.
This has occurred. It's occurred. It's ready to. And I'm not saying this against Curtis or anybody. I'm just saying, Coetting's a fuck up like the rest of us. It's just unfortunately he took a lot of people down with him.
Yes.
In many cases, so we're going to eat ourselves up continually eating up something else. We're eating poison and we are sowing poison. And I feel
the
like
thing is like it's a point of it's kind of like I said, it's a point of contention as well, right? Because what happens is we're in a situation where there are people that really like Coetting, there are people that don't really like Coetting, and I don't want to be on one side or the other. Like I don't want to be in like a situation where we're against him or we're for him. Like it's just a topic of discussion. And when we're mentioning the things that for example, that Curtis are talking about, or what Nora talks about, or what Bonnie talks about, then of course I agree with them in the context of what they're talking about, like the things that they've been through, their experiences. Of course I'm going to agree with them, because yes, if I had to deal with these particular things from other people, then yeah, I would feel the same way, man. Like I'm not gonna be okay, like with the situation and be like, no, it's fine. No, of course it's not. But like from personal experience, I can't speak from personal experience. Just understand this. I respect Curtis always have. His words are gold to me and has helped me many times. I love him to death, and nothing can change that. Nobody can convince me otherwise. That's awesome, Behemoth. Like Behemoth. I mean, like, you know, and this goes to whomever. Like, it's not even just you, man. Like, I mean, like, I don't give a shit who people's friends are. Like, if you're on good terms with somebody, you're on good terms with somebody. If you're not on good terms with somebody, you're not on good terms with somebody. If somebody needs my help with something, I'm going to do my best to, you know, to assist him to the best of my ability. You know, within the confines of, you know, what I'm, you know, what's in my purview. You know, but this is not a hate EA quitting channel, or this is not a hate EA quitting, you know, show. It's just, you know, within the the dynamic of what, you know, Curtis and Bonnie and, you know, Nora and all these people have told me. I agree with them. It's some pretty fucked up situations, you know, and there's really no getting past that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to the point I made earlier. It's literally situational for people, and we have to just remember that. And it's the same topic, same thing. You know, you've really got to consider, not you, just in general. I'm being generalistic. You know, when things occur, they occur in situations, and so we can have completely different perspectives of the same person, completely different. But what we do with that matters. How we manifest or move on with that information matters. Where we go to our next steps in life matters. You know, and I like the idea of the conversation that surrounds it. I would like to talk more about that kind of conversation where, you know, we have all of the ideas and things right in our own heads, but that's never going to happen, because that's just not how humanity or life works, right? It's always going to be a situation where I love somebody and somebody else will despise him no matter how good of a person they may be, because of that perspective. I have an example. It's not related to the occult at all. It's specific to work. I had a nurse that quit on me. I was a nurse aide, and she was great. I loved her. She was very kind. She was very friendly. She was very positive. She just did a great job. She's a little nervous. And she came up to me and she resigned no notice in tears, and she quit because she said she told me her grandfather had passed and I blew her off and made fun of her and laughed at her for it. And that happened. Now, did I laugh at her because her grandfather died? No. But at the situation she told me, I didn't listen well. I didn't hear what she said, and I laughed at somebody else because I was being too busy to give her time. And because of that interaction, that situation, she thought of me as the most horrible person probably that ever existed at that moment. And so that's, you know, that stuff happens. But that gives us. Hello? Malice's mouth is moving, but I hear nothing.
Shit, I'm muted. Sorry about that. No, so like, I mean, but that was a misunderstanding, though, right? I mean, like, you didn't, you know, intentionally laugh at her or anything like that.
Of course not. But you know, really, it doesn't matter if it was intentional or not. Our faults are our faults.
Yeah, we're accountable.
Right? Yeah, and so they are what they are. I've had to recognize that my failure was to listen. It wasn't even miscommunication. She might have heard me wrong, sure, and I certainly didn't laugh at her because her dad died, her grandfather died. But what I didn't do was give her the time that she deserved as a respectful human would. And I created that situation. So, granted, that's a much smaller scale, but I think it's just good to remember that we all do that.
No, definitely. I mean, but like, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's just a precarious position, because the thing is like, I have to maintain a certain position, like inside of situations like this. Like, I have an infinite amount of people that have come to me with stories about co-editing and their experiences with co-editing. Some of them verifiable, other ones not. And regardless of the amount of stories that have come to light or have been brought to my attention, I still have to maintain a certain level of neutrality.
Yeah, and you should. You know, and here's the thing, guys. I really want people to have positive experiences with everybody. I don't have enemies. I don't have friends. I have family, and I have teachers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm from a time where, you know, me and my friends, we would deal with things in the backyard. You know, we
Yep.
throw down. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. You know, the dude says he was gonna punch me till I stop moving. Well, okay, bro, let's do this. Let's throw down. If this is how we have to squash things, let's do it. But don't fucking run from me like a bitch.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want people to have great experiences with EA. Go ahead. That's on you. I'm not gonna hold anybody accountable for his actions. And I'm not gonna fucking attack anybody else for liking him or his work.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own opinions, and if I'm asked, I will share them. Flat out.
No, and,
You know,
and that I want you to be comfortable doing that. Like, that's the thing. Like, and that's where kind of like the precarious position kind of comes in, because, like, I want you. This is as much as I hate this term, and Mystic can tell you how much I hate this term. This is a safe space. I hate using that fucking term. I hate the term fucking safe space. But
why? What's wrong with the safe space?
Because they don't exist.
But I mean, safe space doesn't mean it's easy. It just means you can speak your mind. You'll still have repercussions.
And so this here is a safe space for you to give your opinion, regardless of what other people think. I'm not going to judge you, and I'm not going to let anybody else judge you on what it is your thoughts, your opinions, your experiences. You know, like, I think everybody needs to be able to speak their piece, which is one of the reasons why I went. But because I consider you guys family, that's the reason I went to you guys and asked you about, like, you know, having EA come on to the channel. Like, if I didn't consider you guys family, I wouldn't ask. Like, yeah, you can say your opinion, but everybody else can also say their opinion. But I wanted to make sure that there was no conflict with you guys. And the thing is again, comment on character. Fucking Curtis, you know, he's like, dude, do what the fuck you got to do. Like, you know, like, it's neither here nor there. It's your show. You know?
Right. And not only that, I would love to hear a side of go ahead. Let me hear what justifies that sort of fucking behavior. You know what I mean? Let me hear it. Because if there's a justifiable fucking reason, okay, let's bury the hatchet. And not inside someone's fucking head. Let's literally just bury the hatchet. Just fucking squash it.
Yep.
But you know what I mean? Every time I try to confront this person, but in Messenger and talking to everybody else, he's some sort of big tough guy. Okay, cool. But, you know, I think the message really just goes back to the original question. You know, when do we draw that line?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you were saying, you saw this shit on your Discord, and it's like it got under your skin to the point that you felt like you had to say something. Now, Mystic, I was very much like you. You can ask Bonnie. Bonnie literally confronted me about it. Like, why haven't you said anything? And I'm like, look, it's just, I don't want to give it energy. And then she pointed out how much of a detriment it was to others, how dangerous it was, because she started to see some of the manipulation. And I still said, look, that's a beast you don't want to turn on, because once you do, it's going to be hard to turn off. And even now I'm fucking pissed because it's a subject that we're talking about now, that we're giving more power. Like, why? Why? You know what I mean? It always seems to fucking come up. Why?
Exactly. Exactly. No, 100%.
I don't have any qualms with giving things power when we need to, because sometimes you have to. Like, you can't not address things, but there's always, like you said, there's always. I don't want to say it depends on the people, and this is kind of a conversation that Malice and I have had a couple of times on the stream, and it goes back to expecting the same thing. And I'm not saying that's what we're doing. This is just a point to make for everybody. It's an expectation of everybody to react or be the same way. Not everybody needs to put power to that. We need people that will, and we need people that won't. We've got to have both. And it reminds me of this video, and I have struggled my entire, I don't know how long to find it, but it's completely unrelated, but it gives the sentiment of the idea, which is, when you are somebody that is very often aloof, and that's, how you've gone through life, and you have somebody that's close to you that holds you back down and keeps you to earth, that balance is really important. Where I feel like we run into trouble is expecting that all people need to be that same way, right? And again, not saying that's what we're talking about here, but it's just an important point for me to make, because a lot of times we talk about, like, you need to not give it power, which is my comment, and then we have other comments from both of you have mentioned on a couple of times. We have to address it. We can't let it go because it's dangerous. People need to be able to do both for what's right at their moment, right? So if I'm in a emotional state that's not as functional, for example, the last 2 years of nursing life for me has made me, or allowed me, or I have allowed myself, let me say, to be less emotionally available during COVID because of the stressors of my job. During that time frame, I reacted less to things. Now that stress is starting to go away, and I've experienced and I have grown from that, I am now addressing things a lot more directly. It's just where we are, right? And I think that's the key factor really is not saying you better do it head on, or saying don't give it any energy, because both of them are right and both of them are wrong depending on the person and the situation, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I think we can get a little bit, myself, and I say we, I'm really talking about me. I get myself caught up in having to be one or the other, and that's been one of my big lessons in the last couple of years is you have to be both. You can't be just one or the other all the time,
right?
because
Or else you're inauthentic.
Yeah.
Because there is going to be a line in the sand. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about me, guys. It's really not about being anti this person and pro this teacher, and it's really just about me being authentically fucking Curtis Joseph. And this is where the spirituality movement in general, honestly, I've lost faith in it because nobody's fucking real. I don't want to say nobody. We're real.
Yeah.
Like, we have real opinions. We can sit here and agree to disagree about shit. But a lot of it is a farce.
I mean, the thing is there's always going to be people out there, though, that are going to sit there and say that this person's fake and that person's fake. I'm sure there's people that are going to sit there and say that you're fake, Curtis. I know you're not. I know you're not fake. But like,
am I the only one? Like, and I maybe I am the only one that does this, but I will literally say something, and Rook hears me say this a lot of times, like, I can't stand this. I hate this. I have no clue why I just said that. I don't mean that at all. Like, that's not, it is what it is. And I think we all have those moments of where we're being truthful with ourselves, and we're also being untruthful even with ourselves and hiding that message from us. But, I think the world, we always have to have fighters, and we always have to have lovers and everything in between at some point. And it gets really good when you can do both.
Right. That's where the balance is, honestly. Right.
I have not got there yet. I switched from left to right. I don't get to the middle. I haven't figured it out just yet. But I will go straight from love to fight, depending on what's going on around me. As some people have noticed, there's no middle ground, which is odd for me. But
well, I mean, this is one of the things I teach. Primarily, is that whenever a light is shined, the shadow is cast. I don't believe in duality. I embrace polarity. The powers of light and darkness, when used in the proper context, completely eradicates these concepts of good and evil. What happens when you use light and darkness in balance, in proper context, is harmony is created. You know what I mean? But there's an old Japanese saying that says there is no peace without war. And that's kind of true. Like, we have to remember that conflict is a major part of initiation. It's a major part of, I mean, if you do not suffer from conflict in any way, shape, or form, you cannot claim to be part of the adversarial movement, which is the left-hand path, you know. And so it really is. It's about saying things at the right time, doing things at the right time to create harmony. And that's not always positive, love and light, fucking toxic positivity.
Right.
Sometimes conflict is goddamn justified and outright needed.
No, I agree. Like, I mean, I've definitely been of the mindset that like conflict is definitely something that is necessary. Like, I mean, I just go back to high school, dude. I used to pick the biggest, like, who would be considered like the biggest, baddest guy of the year, and pick a fight. Like, you're talking about this like a skinny fucking. Like, granted, I was tall. I was like 6 foot, but you know, you're talking like I weighed like what 130 pounds soaking wet. You know, this little goofy goth kid picking a fight with the biggest jock in high school each year. 9 times out of 10 getting the shit kicked out of me, but I did it anyway. You
Just
know,
because you could.
yeah. I felt it was like a necessary thing, because even if I didn't win the fight, it earned me a reputation at that particular junction that I wasn't scared of anything, which that in and of itself scared people. Like that I wasn't afraid to get the shit kicked out of me.
Right.
You know, like I would go and I would pick a fight with the, like, you know, the guy that nobody wanted to fuck with. You know, with a guarantee that I was going to lose the fight, and he'd have to beat me to being unconscious for me not to get up, because I would just keep getting up. So even if I didn't win the fight, I still got a reputation off of it. You know,
right.
You know, grant you at the time, like I understand now that, like, you know, I was trying to prove something to myself, you know, because of how I grew up, but that's just how I've been. Like, I mean, I'm not afraid of confrontation. Do I enjoy confrontation? Not necessarily. But I am definitely the type of person that if you start something, I have absolutely no qualms of finishing it.
Right.
Whatever the outcome.
I get it. I get it. You know, and dude, it is. And we can't really be ashamed about wanting to prove things to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times when people are like, what are you trying to prove? That's the right fucking answer. This isn't about proving anything to anybody but me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And really what is fucking important at the end of the day. You know, so I think we all reach these limits of our own psychological comfort. Everybody likes comfort. And let's face it, conflict is a great way to get outside of the comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It is a great way to bust those taboos and to shake the bars of consciousness to see what you got inside. You know what I mean? And this is my thing. Like, I know what I got, and it ain't a glass jaw. You know what I mean? I like conflict. I am a sadist in some ways. I do not mind getting hurt. I don't like the hurt afterwards, but for me, it's all a content.
Yeah, right, but
it's a content.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's no different than a chess match, you know, a game of pool. You know, I just don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care. What are you going to do? Kill me? If so what? So what? Like, this, I love my life, but I've accomplished a lot in my life. Like, if I were to die right now, I would not be mad. Most people can't say that. Most people can't.
I mean, I don't want to die right now, but like I definitely have the mentality that I accept my death. I accept my mortality. Like if I were to die right now, then what the fuck can I say about it? You know, like I have no say.
Oh, shit.
You know, so you know, I accept it. Like I'm at that point in my life where I accept my mortality, and I know that life is about living, not about worrying about where you're going to go afterwards. And I think too many of us spend too much goddamn time worrying about what the fuck happens after life that we don't actually enjoy life. Like, we're so worried about the mystery of what happens after that we don't allow ourselves or allot ourselves the correct amount of time to truly enjoy time with family and friends and things like that, and enjoying, which is one of the reasons why, like, I probably will never stop drinking, right? Because you know what, like, I'll never stop vaping because, dude, I'm gonna fucking drop dead. It's not affecting me, it's not affecting my job, it's not affecting the way that I work with my family, things like that. There's so many things out there that'll fucking kill you, right?
Yeah.
Like in food and in drink and stuff, like, just like a fucking, for example, Curtis earlier, he's drinking a Mountain Dew. I wanted to smack him for that. I miss Mountain Dew. There's no Mountain Dew here in Mexico. And he had a big old fucking liter bottle too,
isn't it?
right? Like, I fucking love Mountain Dew, man. Like, you know, and the thing is, like, if I could get my hands on it, dude, I'd drink that shit every day. I don't give a shit. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I heard
right? People are like, oh, it's bad for you. It reduces your sperm count. It's like, all right, that's better for me anyway. You know, like, so, you
yeah,
know.
man. It's poison, man. But yeah, so is vaping, so is drinking, so is macaroni and cheese and Stouffer stuffing, so is beef. Like,
Yep.
what isn't out there killing us? And this is where my entire philosophy revolves around, and it sounds dark, but I teach directly that we start dying the moment we are conceived. Life is the process of death. And to die a good death, you have to live a good life. Like, that's what death is about. It's about living and enjoying and cultivating your life and living it like an artist. You know, life experience for me is like an artistic medium. It's like what clay is to the sculptor.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like,
So life and death, they're not separate for me.
well, but you're also doing a lot of work with Santa Muerte as well, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, like, I mean, you're probably also getting a lot of perspective off of, like, you know, what death is from that aspect. Working with Santa Muerte. Like, I always tell people, working with Santa Muerte is no fucking joke. Like, that is not a beginner practitioner thing.
No, I work heavily with the death currents. And guys, it's mainly because I've looked death in the face so many times. And this is what I'm saying. Like, all of this black magic and cursing and hexing that all these hordes of people are constantly dumping on me. Like, bro, you guys couldn't handle what the fuck I handled at 10. You would die. Get the fuck off my jock. You know what I mean? You're weak. I would break you. Get the fuck off me. And I don't say that out of arrogance. I say it out of fucking
truth.
Just leave
experience.
Just leave me alone. Let me live my life. You do you. Because I don't depend on any of your clout. You know, and this is why I get so upset when this same shit gets brought up over and over again. And I get passionate about it. Because I really want people to understand that my whole involvement with those death currents, I catch flack for that just because I have white skin. You know what I mean? I catch flack for it, man. And it's just stupid to me. Like, there is so much inherent prejudice and disdain within the occult, but we want to claim to be more evolved than Christians. We're not. I'm not more evolved than anybody else. And I tell my students that all the time. Like, look, I've not arrived. I've got so much more to learn. But I do. I work very close with Santa Muerte, Señor La Muerte, from the Argentinian cult.
Okay, yeah.
The death current is fascinating to me because by exploring death, I'm able to explore my life experience and figure out
100%, yep.
how to cultivate my life and treat my experience like fertilizer. You know, the scythe, a lot of people think it's about cutting the cords of life, but they forget it's an agricultural tool. It's about harvesting your desires. And all of these negative experiences we have, okay, are we going to treat it and look at it like shit? Or can we treat it and look at it like fertilizer, you know, to cultivate a better harvest?
Exactly.
That's
all right, guys.
What,
so on that note, I'm realizing the time. We've been on for 2.5 hours. I got to go. The wife just got back. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw her coming in the frame here for a second. So, guys, this has been a great fucking show. Holy shit. Like, I could totally keep this going for like another 2 hours. Curtis, I need to get you on a Friday, man.
Yeah, man, sure. Like, I normally go on Friday, but yeah, I don't have a problem doing that because I could just upload it to my channel.
Yeah, you can do that. Like, I'm down. Like, if you're down for this Friday, dude, I'd love to have you back on this Friday.
Yeah, let's do it.
Brooke, I'm sorry you didn't get to say too much. Like, you need to interrupt more.
Yeah, dude, I didn't even know she was there, honestly.
I'm a ghost.
So, yeah, I'd love to have you back on Friday and actually do an extended fucking show, man. Like, to get like a good 3-4 hours in with you on the show.
Yeah, I'm
excited.
Like,
there's just so much shit we can talk about, man. Like, we always like, it always feels like we like towards the end of the show we just start touching on the tip of shit.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah, I know, and we can, and I think it's important, dude, because we get into some deep shit. And I want to. Let's shoot to do that on Friday.
Dude, I'm down. So
good.
Everybody, thank you all for fucking being here. Behemoth X, Paranormal Witch, fucking Cursible, fucking everybody that's in there, fucking in the chat. Curtis, Brooke, obviously my co-host. Looks like he's about ready to fucking pass out there with like a pizza-looking. Dude, I thank you all for being here. You guys are fucking amazing. Thank you. As I always say, hail thy fucking self, and we'll see you all on fucking Friday. Yeah, peace the fuck out.
That's right.
Bye,
Peace.
everybody.
Later, man.